Welcome. In front of me I have the OUKITEL OT11 tablet, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. Now, before I start ripping my way into this, I'm gonna rip my way into this tablet itself as or more like a brand. So right off the screen, if I shift it over, now you can see this bullshit that we have right here marketing wise. We have 128 gigabytes of storage, okay, cool. And then we have apparently 16 gigabytes of bullshit RAM. Now, the reason this bothers me so much is because these cunt decided to give you a third of actual RAM and then 3 times more, or convert to storage into RAM. Now, the reason this bothers me so much is because storage ain't RAM. If it was, people would be running PCs with terabytes of RAM. Chrome would never run out of storage at that point. So yeah, this is just a massive middle finger from marketing. It's absolute bullshit and scam in itself, and you cannot market RAM as storage or storage as RAM. It's just, these are two different things. They're not interchangeable. You technically can convert it in that way, and it will, I guess, work if you do enough backpedaling with the software, but it's just inefficient. So I would give you some kind of comparison right here, but this is just so stupid that I didn't really want to think about it. So explaining this a little bit further, for people uninitiated to and just computer tech, I guess, storage is storage. It's fast for read and write on your computer, but when it comes down to RAM, it's significantly slower. RAM is designed to basically instantaneously read and write storage quickly, and also do it a lot of times. Storage on the other hand side has a certain amount of read and writes that it can do till it breaks, specifically SSD storage, which this will be it. So converting that will basically, number one, damage this kind of storage quicker than typical usage, and number two, it's going to be much slower comparatively to actual RAM that's supposed to do this job, that is designed to do this kind of job. So this is just an absolute scam in itself, and let's be honest, OUKITEL isn't the only one doing it, but they're literally doing it with every device that they produce, which just So anyway, let's get in there. I already have low hopes for this. And we also have these. Okay, 1 and 2. And now we can get in. You have some instructions, so this is manual and no one cares. Cool. Moving further down, we have the tablet itself. And I'm gonna boot it right away. If I can find the power button, there we go. Okay, so it's turning on. Great. Now here we get some more paperwork. Charger. Okay, props. They at least added a charger, but something tells me that it's not going to be worth my time. Yeah, but it's a 10-watt charger. You might as well charge this device with a PC. At that point, there is no reason to include a charger. Now, this is what you could consider actual e-waste. Now, I tend to say that I like seeing chargers in the box, and I would say that every manufacturer should probably by law be obligated to provide you one, because without it, they're offering you a incomplete package, I would say. But when they're including chargers like 10 watts, I do start to question my logic here, because 10 watts is just such a dogshit charger that you might as well not include one. And to give you perspective, your USB port on your computer, like the very crappy ones, charge at 5 watts. USB-C charges at much faster than that. So yeah, there's really no purpose for this charger if you have a computer that has basically anything that is either Type A or Type C, because this just won't really do much. So anyway, moving on, let's take a look at the device itself. Now, another thing that they include is another just kind of waste is this pen there. This you might be confused. It looks like a pen. Do I unscrew this? Oh no, and there we go. So it kind of looks like a pen, but it has this bullshit tip. Now, the reason this is kind of, I find it as a kind of a scam. Actually, my phone doesn't register this. This one, I guess, does. Weird. But this should, in theory, work with basically any kind of device. It's not really like a specific one to this tablet. So yeah, it's, in my opinion, it's kind of useless, and has another side as a pen, as you can see. So we have a little pointer and a pen. Now, this is like super inaccurate, and you can buy these kind of things on AliExpress for probably below $1. And these are designed to basically work with every device. So it's just kind of hilarious that they include such a thing in here. Obviously, it does not compare whatsoever to a device that was designed to work with an actual pen, as these will be much more accurate and obviously work way better than this. Now, another thing that is kind of funny is the little screen protector that comes pre-applied here. It's kind of coming off because of the casing right here, or whatever. Now, let's get into the specifications of this device. So, display-wise, right here, let me just kind of flip it over and remove this garbage. Am I pulling out the right layer? Yep, I am. There we go. I guess we have a little bit of a weirdness happening here because of the thing that was popping it off. So anyway, screen right here is a 11-inch display running at resolution. Not sure why that gave me so much trouble. Resolution of 800 by 1280. It's an LCD IPS 400 nits, 79% screen to body ratio, and a pixel density of 137 pixels per inch. It also covered with a Cornell Gorilla Glass 5. And comes with, as you've seen, pre-applied screen protector here. Now, screen-wise, this is very mid, actually less than mid, I would say. It's pretty bad display, all in all. It does get decently bright for indoor usage, considering it has 400 nits, but everything else being an LCD display, having only 800 by 1280 resolution, that's basically a 720p display for an 11-inch device, that's going to look pixelated. So yeah, it's all in all not great display here. Now, continuing on into the internals, we have an 8000 mAh battery, which is relatively small considering this is an 11-inch device. Most devices at this size have like 10,000. So that's another thing. It charges slowly at only 10 watts. We also have a Unisec T606 processor right here with 4 GB of RAM. I refuse to call it 16. You can sue me if you want to. So yeah, it's 4 GB of RAM and 128 gigs of built-in storage, UFS storage type. And then we have, in terms of cameras, selfie camera that is 5 megapixel f2.2 aperture that records at 720p 30 frames, and 13 megapixel back one. If I just flip it over, there we go. So 13 megapixel back one, f2.2 aperture, wide sensor, 1080p 30 frames. And while we're at the back, let's actually take off the case. So we can see this, yikes, color. That is a color only a mother can love. So yeah, it's kind of this purple, pinkish hue to it. Obviously it's plastic, feels really cheap. Now this is, I think, just kind of like painted over, if that makes sense. So if I'm correct, without a case, when this gets scratched, it actually, I think, will reveal the color of the plastic under that. So obviously not necessarily the best kind of look there. So yeah, there we go. And talking about the build, continuing on, so plastic back, also plastic frame, as you can see all around. Is that supposed to come off? Oh, yikes. So when I was taking off the case, I basically took off part of the actual plastic shell, which isn't removable. So you can kind of see it when I do this. It does come off. So that being said, be careful when taking off the case. Jeez, that is not the greatest design right here, or not the greatest fit, considering this is literally like popping off. So yeah, by the looks of it, in this case, positive of this would be that you can actually probably easily replace the battery once it becomes old and just doesn't hold a charge. So it will seem like popping off the actual back plastic here will be simple, considering it pops off almost on its own when taking off the case. So yeah, props to that. But it's not a removable, technically not a removable back like you would normally have. So there we go. Basically sums up the device. The last thing that I would probably want to find is the price of this device, as this will be a very defining factor, as it is for basically every device. No, decline. Let's see, I'm looking for the price for this on their website. If I can actually see it, where do you offer this? Guess not here. Okay, so finding the price tag, we're looking at 650 PLN, which that would equate to, if I do a quick search, $150. Now that is actually a steep price for a device like this. Now, considering this is 150 bucks, there is a better device that I can recommend for people that are interested, which that would be the Realme Pad. Now that device has a much better display, and considering most of us use the tablet for just kind of like Netflix, browsing the web or stuff like that, stuff that we don't want to whip out our computers for, and phones just seem to be too small of a display for it, tablets basically fill that gap. At least that's how I use them. Now when in such a scenario, I personally like to have a tablet with a great display. This is the key thing that I want to have on my device. So this display right here is garbage. Now Realme might not be such a great device there. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat that, but it is about the same price and offers you, let me just quickly pull it up. Okay, Realme Pad. So it offers a 10.4-inch display, so just a little bit smaller than that, but it also has 80% screen to body ratio, 224 pixels per inch with a resolution of 1200 by 2000, much higher resolution. Battery wise, it's by 900 milliamps smaller, but charges nearly twice as fast. It comes with 3 up to 6 gigabytes of RAM, so again, it can have more RAM. Storage wise, it's kind of the crappy part. The default version of it comes with 32 gigs. Don't recommend that. So yeah, 64 or 128 would be the optimal, which 128 comes with the 6 gigs of RAM. Now I presume this will be a bit more expensive at that point compared to the 160 euros that this will be at. The default one is. So you would need to pay just probably like what, 20 bucks more if you're willing to get more storage and RAM. But at that point you would be looking at a tablet that will work and better than this, and also give you a better display image than this one. And that's really what I primarily look for, and that's kind of how I'm basing my judgment off of this device. This one just seems a bit too cheap, too many corners cut right here, and the price isn't competitive enough with those corner cuttings. When it comes onto some other manufacturers that produce also budget devices that just offer just a little bit more. When offering nowadays a budget option, budget device like for instance this tablet, I am now looking for at least one part of it that is better than the rest. So this is basically the bare minimum, right? There is nothing on top of it that would, just like one component that would be better comparatively. So no better display, no higher refresh rate, no higher screen resolution, or decent brightness, or better panel, or faster charging, or better storage type, or better processor. Just one of those. At that point, I would probably be looking at it in a different perspective, but they cut everything here and still offer it for $150, where you can get something that, for instance, has a higher resolution. That's already an improvement. Even more, it comes with high resolution and higher charging speed. Those are two things that you don't get right here. Something that you get with Realme Pad that basically is offered at the same almost price. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Obviously, the choice is up to you, what you're looking for. But keep in mind, when looking for a tablet, I would probably recommend looking for at least one component that is improved over the rest of them. That would be the bare minimum. And at that point, obviously, whatever you're looking for, if you want it to be charging fast, then look for something that charges faster at the same price. Well, everything else you would be obviously expecting to be pretty low end. Now, anyway, that explanation and just kind of like an overview right here, my thought process being over. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.